Assalamu alaikum. My dear brothers and sisters, I stand before you not to frighten you, but to awaken you. To stir the soul that may have grown comfortable in distraction. There is a tide in the life of a believer, a moment of truth that comes to us all. And that moment is announced by a whisper in the heart, a knock on the door of our conscience. Can you hear it? Your protection is ending. Allah is warning you right now. Look around you, not just with your eyes, but with the inner sight Allah has placed within your chest. Look at the landscape of your own life. That recurring nagging feeling that something is off. Not a worldly worry about bills or deadlines, but a deeper spiritual dissonance. It's the feeling you get when you've spent hours scrolling and a hollow silence fills the room afterwards. It's the taste of a meal consumed without saying Bismillah, a sustenance that feels somehow incomplete. It's the prayer you rushed through, the words leaving your lips while your heart remained 1,000 miles away, and the strange emptiness that followed as if you'd spoken into a void. That unease is not clinical anxiety. It is not a random chemical fluctuation in the brain. It is a divine dispatch. It is the first merciful tremor before the earthquake, sent so you might find solid ground before the ground itself gives way. Allah, in His unimaginable kindness, does not abandon us to our own oblivion. When we build walls of distraction, brick by brick with our phones, our gossip, our silent envy, our neglected prayers, He does not simply let the walls close in and seal us in darkness. He sends a crack of light. He allows a feeling of constriction to enter our souls. That tightness in your chest when you consider the gap between who you are and who you were created to be, that is the crack of light. That sudden, piercing moment of clarity in the middle of your sin, where you see the act for what it truly is, a theft from your own soul. That is the crack of light. These are not punishments. They're the most profound warnings delivered directly to the heart. They are Allah saying, my slave, you are on a path. Look up, see where it leads. So consider the metaphor of a parent and a child. The child plays utterly absorbed near a hot stove. The parent from across the room does not immediately snatch the child away. First, they call their name. A calm, firm warning. Stop. The child, enamored with the play, ignores it. The parent's voice sharpens. I am telling you, move away. The love of the parent is what compels the warning. The urgency in their voice is not anger, but a terrified love. The punishment, being removed from the kitchen entirely, only comes if the child, deaf to all calls, reaches for the flame. Our lives, our health, our time, our provision, these are the kitchen. Our heedlessness is playing near the flame. That feeling of discomfort, that spiritual itch you can't scratch, the fading joy in what once pleased you, that is the parent's voice calling your name with increasing urgency. Your protection is ending means the grace period of gentle calls is reaching its limit. The child who will not heed the voice will soon learn the nature of the flame. This divine communication system is built into the very fabric of our existence. It manifests in the consequences of our choices, which are themselves a form of speech. You neglect your connection with Allah, and you find your heart becoming hard, unmoved by the kern, untouched by the suffering of others, impatient with the beauty of a sunset. That hardness is not a random condition, it is a direct consequence and a glaring warning sign. You engage in what is forbidden, and you feel a stain on your inner being, a shadow that makes it difficult to stand in sincere prayer. That shadow is the warning. You withhold your wealth from its rightful due, and you find your blessings strangely barren. Money brings no real peace, possessions become a burden. That barrenness is the warning. Allah speaks to us through the silent language of cause and effect in the spiritual realm. He allows us to feel the faint, distant echo of the true punishment, so that we might flee from the source of the sound itself. What of the blessings that remain? They are the ultimate warning wrapped in the guise of gift. You still have your health. That is a warning, use it in my service before it is taken. You still have wealth. That is a warning. Purify it with zakat and charity before it becomes a fire against you on the day of judgment. You still have time, this very hour, this very breath. That is the most acute warning of all. It is the currency of your repentance, and the meter is running. Every sunrise you see is a personal message. Why? Another day has been gifted to you. The record of yesterday is sealed. What will you write today? To take these blessings as a sign of Allah's approval for our current state is a catastrophic misreading. It is like the child near the stove, seeing that the parent hasn't yet intervened and thinking, I see. It must be okay. The patience is the warning. The continuation of the chance is the last chance. The great companions of the Prophet, those giants of faith, understood this. They lived with a trembling heart, not out of fear of hellfire alone, but out of fear of missing the warnings. Omar ibn al-Khattab would say, call yourself to account before you are called to account. They would examine their day, their intentions, their deeds, searching for those subtle signs of divine displeasure. A missed opportunity for kindness, a moment of pride, a prayer that lacked presence. They knew that the major punishments, the loss of life, health, or stability, are often preceded by 1,000 minor, overlooked warnings in the heart. The numbness after sin, the difficulty in rising for fajr, the tendency to argue and be harsh, these are the spiritual fevers signaling a deeper infection. To ignore them is to sleep through the smoke alarm. So, in this very moment, as you hear these words, the warning is active. It is not a theoretical concept for tomorrow, it is a present reality. The protection of your current state of heedlessness is unraveling thread by thread. The question is not whether Allah is speaking. He is constantly through the ayat in the Quran and the ayat in your lived experience. The question is, are you on the frequency to receive it? Or have you let the static of the world, its endless noise, its false promises, its trivial pursuits, drown out the signal? This is the crossroads. This feeling you have right now, this stirring is the point. Do not let it pass. Do not, after this moment closes, return to the same distractions as if nothing happened. The warning is a gift of action. It demands a response. Let it be the reason you whisper astaghfirullah with true meaning right now. Let it be the catalyst that makes your next prayer different, where you slow down and truly speak to your Lord. Let it be the strength to finally cut off that habit, to mend that relationship, to open that neglected Quran. The mercy is that the warning comes before the finality of the setting sun or the stopping of the heart. The tragedy would be to have heard it clearly, to have felt its truth resonate in the deepest part of you, and then to willfully choose to turn down the volume and go back to sleep. Your protection is ending. Allah is warning you right now. And in that warning lies your greatest hope. Consider the metaphor of a parent and a child, a scene of such primal clarity, it cuts through all philosophical haze. The child in the innocent, all-consuming focus of play has wandered to the edge of the hearth. The flames dance, beautiful and lethal. The parent from across the room does not immediately snatch the child away. Love, in its wisdom, first uses the voice, a calm, firm call. Come away from there. The child, enchanted by the light and warmth, perhaps inches closer, a small hand reaching out. The parent's voice sharpens, charged with a new intensity. I am telling you, move back. Now, the edge in that voice is not cruelty. It is the precise sound of love in a state of emergency. It is the translation of terrified devotion into a sound wave meant to pierce the bubble of play. The final action, the swift lifting away, the temporary removal from the room, is not the parent's desired outcome. It is the last resort when every vocal warning, every note of urgent love in the voice has been met with a deaf, captivated ignorance. You are that child, we all are. The world is the kitchen, a place of nourishment and danger, of creation and potential destruction. Your health, your intellect, your time, your passions, your very life, these are the gifts of this space. But the dunya, with its dazzling, hypnotic flames of desire, of ego, of immediate gratification, of endless distraction, licks at the edges. And we play. Oh, how we play. We build our castles of ambition right on the hearthstone. We chase the glittering sparks of fame, of wealth, of fleeting pleasure. And all the while the voice calls. It called to you yesterday when you saw a beggar and felt a pang to give, but rationalized it away. It called to you last night when you felt a pull to pray to Hajjad, but buried your head in the pillow. It called to you this morning in the quiet moment, before the chaos, inviting you to remember Him, but you reach for your phone instead. Each ignored call is a step closer to the flame. The increasing constriction in your spirit, the joylessness that seeps into your achievements, the feeling of being lost in your own life. This is not the punishment. This is the voice rising in pitch. Your protection is ending, means the period of gentle reminders is culminating. The parent is rising from the chair. The love has not diminished by a single atom. In fact, it is that very love that now prepares the necessary, painful intervention. To mistake that patient series of warnings for approval is the most dangerous illusion of all. It is the child looking at the still seated parent and thinking, I am fine. See, you have not moved me. Therefore, this must be safe. This dynamic is the very core of Allah's engagement with us. It is the operational principle of His mercy, our Rahman, and His loving kindness, our Rahim. He says in the Quran, and we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger and a loss of wealth and lives and fruits, but give good tidings to the patient. 155. These trials are not arbitrary acts of a capricious deity. They are in their essence the definitive warning system. They are the firm grasp that pulls the nation, the community, the individual back from a precipice of collective or personal oblivion. The loss of a job can be the severing of a chain that tied one to haram. An illness can be the forced stillness that finally allows one to hear the whispers of the heart. A heartbreak can be the demolition of an idol that was mistakenly worshipped. These are not punishments first, they are corrections. They are the ultimate, tangible warnings when the subtler ones, the disquiet of the soul, the dryness in worship, have gone unheeded. But the warning system is far more sophisticated and constant than just calamity. It is woven into the fabric of cause and effect in the unseen world. You choose to nourish your soul with the Quran, with sincere remembrance, a dhikr, with good company, and you feel a clarity, a lightness, an expansion in your chest. That is a confirmation, a positive warning. This is the path of life. Conversely, you choose to nourish your soul with gossip, with vanity, with permissible things consumed to excess, and you feel a heaviness, a cloudness, a spiritual indigestion. That is the negative warning. This path leads to deadening. Allah speaks to us through the condition of our own hearts. A heart that finds it easy to lie but difficult to pray is screaming a warning. A heart that is moved by a viral video but remains stone cold to the ayat of the Quran is blaring a siren. The Prophet said, there is in the body a piece of flesh which, if it is sound, the whole body is sound, and then if it is corrupt, the whole body is corrupt. Truly, it is the heart. The heart's condition is the primary dashboard of warnings. Is it soft and receptive? That is a green light. Is it hard, restless, and closed? That is a flashing red light of the highest urgency. The great scholars of Islam, those who understood the nuances of the soul, spoke of this constantly. They described the concept of qatat, the promptings of the heart. A prompting to do good is an inspiration from the angels, a merciful warning to seize an opportunity for light. A prompting to do evil is a whisper from the shaitan, but the very feeling of resistance against that whisper is the warning from your own fitra, your innate pure nature, crying out in protest. The battle is in these moments. To ignore the good prompting is to let a warning light fade. To follow the evil prompting is to willfully drive toward the cliff after seeing the sign that says, Breji o ut. This is why the worship of the righteous was imbued with such a profound sense of khafa, reverential fear. It was not a cowering terror, but the acute, lived awareness of these divine signals. They were experts in the language of warnings. They would see a slight lapse in their own consistency, a moment of pride, a minor transgression, and they would respond with immediate and profound repentance. Not because they feared hell in that instant, but because they saw the lapse as a critical warning sign. a crack in the hull of their ship. They knew that 1,000 small, unheeded cracks will inevitably lead to a catastrophic breach. Their vigilance was their understanding of the system. Allah's mercy sends the cracks as signals so you can repair them before you are in open water and the storm hits. To sail on, ignoring the leaks because the sun is still shining, is the epitome of foolishness. Your protection, the calm sea, the shining sun is ending. The changing wind, the first drops of rain, the darkening sky, these are the warnings. And they are upon you now.